Once the whitefellas decided that this continent was empty, they started to work out ways to make money from it. Whitefellas started by exploiting the animals, destroyed our vegetation with their livestock, ripped all our minerals out of the ground, and then they did something really rotten. Nuclear weapons tests. So when the whitefellow first announced these tests, they were sure that the land was empty. You remember? Terra Nullius? Now this bomb is only 3 kiloton, which means this slut has to run about 90 metres so as not to get devoured by a fireball. But if he wants to outrun the shockwave that will almost certainly kill him, he has to make it to 3.23 kilometres. Not even Kathy Freeman can run that fast. During the 1950s, the Brits dropped 9 nuclear weapons on the continent, the biggest being 26 kilotons. They also detonated a further 30 bombs that contained uranium and other toxic materials. Now, if that was all we had to worry about, we'd be set. But that's not how nuclear weapons work.
Oh, you big radioactive sluts!
This is Uncle Yami Lester, proud Yankunytjatjara man. In the 1950s, when he was a small boy, he stared into the horizon and saw a giant black mist swooping towards him. So, he did what any small boy would do and continued to stare at it. The black mist was nuclear fallout from the weapons tests. Yami went blind immediately. And so did everyone in Yami's family camp who looked at it. Over the following days, many members of Yami's camp died. Those that didn't immediately die from the radiation had trouble reaching the local watering hole, which was now covered in a thick, toxic scum. Yami spent the rest of his life fighting to bring awareness to his plight and the plight of a further 1,800 Indigenous residents who were affected by the blast. But our troubles didn't end with nuclear weapons. Australia and Britain continued to test weapons on our land for the next decade. 1964, and a little further northwest, and a whole bunch of Martu women had found themselves in the firing range of a rocket. See, the whitefellas just assumed that there was no one living there because it looked like this. And of course, anything that doesn't look like this must be uninhabitable. So the whitefellas had been dumping their toxic rocket debris on our land for years, and the Martu were completely unaware that it was radioactive material. Probably something to do with the warning signs being written in English. Before the first rocket launch, some native patrol officers decided to check if there were any blackfellas in the way of their rockets. They found the group, but the group gave them the slip, even though they were on foot and the officers were in a car. So the whitefellas did what any caring civilization would do in this situation. They fired the rocket anyway. Fortunately, the rocket didn't perform as expected and ended up going off course. Before the next launch, the patrol officers decided they'd try and find the Martu group again. But this time, they took 2 black trackers with them. So of course, this time, they found them. This was the first time that any of the group had seen a white man or a jeep Yawali here thought that a big rock had come to life and that the white fellas were black fellas whose skin had fallen off. The group was saved from the bomb blast, received a formal apology, and were left alone to live out their days peacefully on their homeland. Yeah, right.
Here, come on, in the car.
The group was bundled off to Jigalong Mission, and Yawali, who was just 17 years old, was married to one of the patrol officers, as was one of the other girls. Yeah, well, that worked out well, didn't it, boys? More like a dating expedition than a rescue mission.